What is up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 32. And in this episode, I'm letting you guys know right off the bat, no pun intended, there will be no gameplay in this episode, so no Tigers hitting the field. It is all strictly GM mode type of a video today. So we got some trading block to look at. We got some updates as far as the standings, league leaders, all-star voting, things of that nature. So hold on to your butts because it's going to get fun. So first things first, let us look at these standings. So the Tigers, guys, 65-36. 9 games ahead of the Royals. Yes, surprising. The Kansas City Royals are in second place in the AL Central. The Indians are only a game back of them, and they're 10 games out from us. So we're 29 games above 500. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. 29 games above 500. That's insane. Take a look at the runs scored, runs against. We're doing pretty good. We're in the top, pretty much the top 10 in runs scored, and then runs against, also a top 10 finish. So Tigers offense coming through. Tigers pitching coming through. The additions of Eduardo Nunez are really helping that out. Basically turning his singles into doubles with his stolen bases. We got Matt Moore helping us out with the pitching. Michael Fulmer's being ace material this season. So there's a lot to love about this Tigers offense and pitching. So we got a lot of things working for us right now. I remember at the beginning of the season, for this 2018 season, the runs scored were pretty high. It was still elite level, but the runs against were just getting totally just lambasted. We were just totally getting wrecked. And we were pretty much a 500 ball club, and that's pretty indicative of how the first month of the season was going. When you're not scoring as many runs as you're giving up, you're probably going to lose. You're probably going to lose. But now that you can kind of see the spread there, the wins are starting to pile up, and it's pretty obvious. 29 games above 500 is nothing to scoff at. So let me know, guys, who you like in for the rest of the season, your playoff scenario. Let's go look at the AL West. First things first, though, I think the Indians are going to get this second place in the Central. I think the Royals don't have enough staying power. Angels in a tight battle with the Mariners right now, only 1 game back. I think the Angels will probably win this thing. That they've got a little bit more firepower than the Mariners do. Probably better pitching, better offense overall. So I do like the Angels. Rangers, Astros, and A's, they don't really have a shot being double digits out. So don't like that too much. AL East, the Red Sox have a pretty nice hold here on the AL East over the Tampa Bay Rays. It's 7.5 games back for them. But if we look at the wild card, I think the Mariners are going to drop out. The Royals will drop out. And I think it's going to be the Indians and the Rays taking those 2 spots for the AL wild card. So that's the American League. Now let's take a look at the National League. We got the Mets and the Nationals are down 2 games to the Mets in the standings. I think the Nationals will end up taking this. Simulation-wise, it's going to be pretty close just because the Mets are ranked 7th overall and the Nats are ranked 3rd overall. But I think, with Miguel Cabrera over there, Daniel Murphy, Bryce Harper, Max Scherzer, I mean, it's just they've got too much going on. The Mets, they had a big signing this offseason. Mike Moustakas to play third base. So, but that's it's pretty good, but not gonna push them over the top. Their pitching staff, though, guys, 327 runs against. That is first in all of Major League Baseball. That is elite, and it's first by a lot. I mean, look at this. There's no 320s here anywhere. Nowhere. The next closest is about 360. So the fact that they're giving up 327, that's money. I mean, they got Harvey, Matz, Verlander, Syndergaard. It's just like, whew, it's crazy. It's crazy good. But I think the Nationals offense is going to be better, and I think the Nats can take that division. This is actually part of kind of a surprise of the National League here. The Cardinals are one of the top 5 teams in all of baseball, as well as us. But look at that offense. 489 runs scored. That's right up there with the Nationals. You know, we just got done talking about their offense. I don't see anybody else close. So 489 runs, I mean, that's elite level. The Cubs find themselves 4.5 games back from the Cardinals for first place. It's hard to not go with the Cardinals here, but I'm going to go with my Cubbies. Yes, they're my Cubbies. They've been a childhood favorite of mine since, well, the mid-90s. So screw it, you haters. They're my second favorite team behind the Tigers, of course. But I don't see the Cardinals lasting. I think the Cubs will take first place. I think the Cardinals will drop to second, and they'll probably end up taking the wild card. Dodgers have a pretty okay grip. The 2017 champs have an okay grip on that division there. The Giants only 2.5 games back. This is going to be a dogfight, but I think the Dodgers will end up taking this one. Giants find themselves out of the playoffs. I think the Mets and the Cardinals will take the 2 wild card spots, with the Cubs winning their division and the Nationals winning their division. So let me know, guys, what you think. I think it'd be kind of fun just to play around with it and see what everybody's got. So let us go into the All-Star voting. Let's do this real quick. Check out who made the All-Star team. Jose De Leon. Jose freaking De Leon made the All-Star team. 9-3, 141 Ks. And somehow that ERA with a 3.1 and the 1.53 whip, that was good enough to make an All-Star appearance. I know. And when we go over the rosters and you guys see everyone else on the team who's been pitching better, you're going to ask yourself, how in the world did Jose De Leon make it? And I personally think it's because of the strikeouts. But we'll see. Bruce Rondon made the All-Star team simply because of the saves. He is not only the American League leader in saves, but he's the MLB leader in saves at 33. So he's having himself a great season. We got a lot of good closers here. I don't know, making it. Zach Britton's probably the best closer in all of baseball, in my opinion, in real life. But yeah, so we got 2 All-Stars there. I kind of just skimmed through these for you guys. We won't really go over everybody, but just so you kind of got to see who's who and who's where. Eduardo Nunez was our last All-Star, so you know he's in double-digit home runs at shortstop, especially as a leadoff guy. If he's got 41 RBIs, that's pretty solid. He's well on his way and on pace for about 80 RBIs. So we like that. We like the batting average, 292, and 27 stolen bases. Obviously, the league leader. So that's why he's there. And that is your American League All-Stars. So let's check out the National League. I know you guys probably want to check that out a little bit, but we won't spend too much time on that since we're not in the National League and we don't really need to go over it. But you guys can kind of see who made it. Buster Posey actually hitting 249. What's up with that? Wilson Contreras makes his first All-Star appearance. Mesoraco hitting 219. Makes an All-Star game? Get rid of the fan vote. Get rid of the fan vote. I hate it. It's so stupid. The only part I like about it is the fact that, you know, you kind of have a voice. So it's not a good old boy network, but at the same time, I personally think that the fans should only have a vote or a vesting interest when it's like the fringe guys or like the last player. You know, you should be able to vote for the last player to get into an All-Star game. That's just my opinion. But I think the All-Star game needs to be decided by their peers, by the coaching staffs and all that. Maybe even by writers. Writers need to decide it too. Have a little accountability. But anyway, enough of the rant. Let's go quickly, the stats for our players right now. So Michael Fulmer did not make the All-Star team, but Jose De Leon did. 11-3 for Fulmer with 131 Ks, 3 ERA, and a 1.13 WHIP. That's pretty elite, right? Plus, he's 11 overall points better than Jose De Leon. So someone explain that to me, please. I think it's simply because of the strikeout totals, because it's definitely not the wins, and it's definitely not the WHIP. Joe Ross, 11-4. Having a pretty solid season as far as WHIP goes. He's knocking that down a lot, but the ERA slowly coming down. I remember when he was in the 6s and the 7s. Moved it down to a 5.5, I think, in the last gameplay that we saw him in, and now he's down to a 4.04. So he's been pretty solid as of late, but that kind of doesn't tell the whole story. Danny Norris been pitching pretty solid. You know, we'll take it. We like it. You know, it's good for a number 4, number 5 type guy. Matt Moore has been pretty good for us as well. So this order, you guys might be asking yourselves, why is Jose De Leon in the pitching rotation? It was simply because when Fulmer and Ross kind of got hurt in back-to-back weeks, we pushed Vernon Geary out to pitch in the starting role, and then De Leon had to come over as well. And then when these two guys got back, we pretty much just moved Jared Cozart out after the Chris Carter trade and the Yimi Garcia trade. And once he was pushed out, De Leon had been pitching so well with these guys hurt that we figured, well, why not just keep him in the rotation? And ever since, he's just run with it, and he's just been really solid. So good job by De Leon. He's really living up to that A potential. You guys can see there's no negatives on that whole entire attributes list. Everything's on the up and up. So this is really surprising because I thought that this guy wasn't going to make it. He wasn't going to make the cut based on how he pitched last season with the 5.5 as a starter, 66 walks, 4-11. So even leading up into spring training, even into the beginning, early stages of this season when he was in the bullpen, he just was not getting it done. But for whatever reason, just on a hot streak, and he's just run with it. So that's for the pitching staff there, and we really like that. Let's go over some of the batters here. We guys already know about the Eduardo Nunez. Yasiel Puig hitting 257. So we got to try to get him going a little bit. There's no reason he needs to be hitting 250. 12 home runs, 38 RBIs. That's kind of a byproduct of him batting number 2. If he was down in the order like he normally would be, I think that those RBI totals would be up a little bit more. JD Martinez not hitting as many home runs as we would have hoped for, but 57 RBIs and a 299, we're going to take that all day. Mostly he's just trying to put the ball in play, not do too much, and just knock these guys in with some speed to get that early run on the board. Grichuk, 63 RBIs with 19 home runs, 271. We will take that all day given his contact numbers, but the power's legit, and he's getting it done for sure. The surprising batter. So we had our surprising pitcher, the surprising batter, Luis Valbuena, 277 with 18 home runs. I remember when we were playing with him in a couple episodes earlier, he was down in like the 230s, 240s, and he had about 7 home runs. So he's really picked it up as of late. So we're happy about that production. The guy that we're not too happy with right now is Michael Taylor, and we got to try to figure out what we're going to do. The batting average is pretty good at 245, since this is kind of what he does. But what he also does is he strikes out a lot and he hits home runs, right? Well, maybe just last season he hit home runs. He had 20 last season. He's on pace to not reach that this season. He's at 9, and he's not even going to reach his RBI total, which is kind of disappointing because given he's kind of lower in the order, Grichuk and Valbuena and Martinez get on for him in order to drive in runs, but he just strikes out so much he's not contributing at all. If we had batted him lower in the order, maybe that can kind of get him out of the slump, but the problem is that we got James McCann, who doesn't hit for a lot of power, and then we got Josh Rutledge, who doesn't hit for a lot of power, And then Bregman has been pretty terrible at the plate this year. 208. 208. So we're kind of losing a little bit of faith here. We're going to start getting him a Brandon Inge calling card. Hits home runs last season, 23, but the batting average is going to be pretty bad. Plays great defensively, the same old song and dance. But so Alex Bregman and Michael Taylor have been kind of a problem this season, and I don't know how much my leash is going to be. I don't know how long my leash is going to be for Michael Taylor. It's going to be pretty long for Bregman because third basemen that can play defense like he does do not grow on trees, my friends. They just do not. And but outfielders do. Outfielders grow on trees. They're a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere, and you can find guys that can produce like Michael Taylor, if not a little bit better. James McCann, we're going to take that out of a catcher hitting 277. Not all catchers can do that. So he's having a pretty solid season for us. Josh Rutledge still hanging in there, around 300 batting average. So he's been getting it done. That's all we're asking out of Rutledge, and he's delivered. Profar doing pretty well off the bench, 279. Harper Ham though, he's been hitting the cover of the ball, 315, batting average. Look at those contact numbers. Fielding's an 84. We got to get his arm up though, and then he could probably be our catcher of the future when McCann decides he wants to get paid. So Harper Ham might be the man, maybe for the next 2 seasons, at least until McCann says bye-bye. At that point, we got Josh Greenberg in the minor league system, the guy we just drafted, so he's an option back there. Chris Carter hitting 206. We knew that coming in, that he was going to do stuff like that. He's given us 3 home runs since he's joined the team. Eric Young been pretty solid as well. 21 RBIs is not bad for a guy that only gets limited playing time, but 25 stolen bases, that's really good for a guy with limited playing time. So he's right up there with Eduardo Nunez in the stolen base total. So guys, that is the lineup, and now I want to go over, let's see, we went over the standings, we went over pitching, we went over All-Star break. It's time for the trade block. It's time to look at some moves here. So here's the deal. We're not looking to get depth at this point. We are looking to buy, and we're looking to buy somebody who's going to push us over the top and get us to where we want to go, and that's a World Series appearance, and that's a World Series ring. So if it's got to be a guy like Chris Davis where it's a one and done, and it doesn't really affect the whole entire organization's goal as far as our outfielders go, because, let's say we get Chris Davis on the cheap, because we don't have faith in Michael Taylor to get the offense going, right? Well, if Chris Davis was here for 5 years, God forbid, but if he was here for 5 years, that would put us behind, and we would start to consider, what are we going to do with Manuel Margot? What are we going to do? Grichuk's got to play. What's the plan for Profar? And then what's the plan for Puig? And are we getting rid of Puig at the end of the year? And all these scenarios, right? So a guy that's a one and done, a rent-a player, is like the optimal move here. But we have to find an outfielder that's going to be obviously better than Michael Taylor, someone who's going to produce a little bit more than Michael Taylor would. Look at the power numbers, 86 and 77 with a 59 and 53 contact. That's better than Michael Taylor. I can tell you guys that right now. Let's just look at the options here. So the contact's already better on both sides of the plate. The power is significantly better. The defense, not so much. We would probably end up putting Chris Davis in right field and then Puig in center field, and then just letting Michael Taylor ride the pine. So that's an option. He's not asking for a whole bunch of money. 2.2 mil. Pretty cheap to get, 30 years old. Just a one and done type of guy. So that's an option for us. We know what we're going to get out of We know what we're going to get out of Chris Davis. It's just a bunch of home runs. But this is the guy that I've been kind of targeting, is Billy Hamilton. Yeah, he's making double of what Chris Davis is, and he's also one and done. We might end up probably trying to sign him for extra years, and this is the kicker, guys, and this is kind of why I need your help. I need your help on figuring out what the heck we're going to do. If we get Billy Hamilton in a trade, by the way, the Reds are asking for a ton, okay? Would they do this trade? Yes, they would, but we're not willing to give up Jose De Leon. At least I'm not. Tom Goslin, 27 years old, a potential pitcher. I don't see him ever coming up to the major leagues at that age. There's really no room for him. If we did, I mean, that they would do that, but we don't want to give up Felipe Gutierrez. It's just not going to happen. Alex Linder, give him a little bit more overall, right? And Gavin Cecchini, that's asking a lot. And they're not going to do it. So that's a pretty good trade for us, what we're giving up to get Billy Hamilton, and they don't even want to do it. So we're going to have to sell the farm in order to get this guy. But if we get Billy Hamilton, guys, this wins us a World Series. I guarantee it. Write it down. Give us the trophy right now. Give us the Commissioner's Trophy. Give us the ring. You put Billy Hamilton at leadoff and Nunez at 2, or you just keep Nunez leadoff and bat Hamilton number 2. That speed at the top of the lineup is just damaging to opposing defenses and opposing pitchers, like JD at 3, Grichuk 4, Puig at 5, Valbuena 6. I mean, all these options that have now been opened up to us because Hamilton stretches the lineup out. He's a game changer on all sides of the ball, all sides of the field. Got my football analogy on all sides of the ball, all sides of the field, all sides of the diamond. Check out the defensive rating, right? I mean, yeah, we think Michael Taylor's great defensively in center, but Billy Hamilton's better. He may not bring us the home runs, but he brings us the speed, he brings us the defense. And, I mean, is Michael Taylor really doing anything Billy Hamilton isn't? 9 home runs, 8 stolen bases with 245. 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, 26 stolen bases with 245. So, you know, it's really just all about speed and defense. And we're kind of at a crossroads here. So, but keep in mind, trade for Billy Hamilton, you're going to give up a ton of prospects for him. And is that something that we want to do at this point? They would do that trade. But if we look at the statistics, is Manuel Margot really that far off from Billy Hamilton? I mean, look at the power numbers, 39-44, 40-49. And he's still growing, you know, he's still growing into the role, trying to figure it out. 57 contact, 62, 65 contact, 54. So, I mean, are they not the same player a little bit? Who says we couldn't call up Manuel Margot and give him a shot to play center field to try to take that job? So maybe we don't have to make a move at all. But guys, those are the options. That's kind of what we're thinking about. That is it for this episode. We will go here. We will play this game here. Michael Fulmer against Marcus Stroman. We'll go into Toronto. We have not seen Toronto in this series, and we have not seen Baltimore either. We've seen Oakland once in Oakland. We have not seen Pittsburgh or Minnesota. We've seen LA. We've seen Arizona. We've seen the White Sox. We've seen the Yankees. So yeah, I think this would be a good spot. Let's go with Fulmer against Stroman. That'll be trade deadline. That'll be the next video. We'll have some gameplay, and then we'll get some trades in to better our cause. So, guys, let me know what you think, and leave a like if you like the way that this trading block this season is turning out. 65 and 36, boys. 29 games above 500. We're going to keep that rolling against the Jays. If you like it and you love it and you want more of it, you know what to do. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, and I appreciate it very much. You will not be let down. You'll have some more Tigers rebuild videos, along with more MLB The Show videos and franchise rebuilds to come in the near future. Once we get that World Series, we'll put this Tigers one to rest. I will keep the save file so we can kind of go back in maybe September, the fall, maybe even the winter, and just keep going on it. But the main objective is to win a World Series and kind of move on from there. So, guys, I will see you in the next video. We will go to Canada against Marcus Stroman. So, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. And as always, peace.